Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about forgetting things. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, do you ever go through a topic and then you're 100% convinced you understand it and then you revisit it sometime in the future and you can't understand it anymore? It's like you forgot how to understand it in the first place. Not sure how to explain, but just curious if this happened to other people or if it's just me. Well, um, it depends on, again, like it's a little bit of a definition question here. So as an example, if you were to go and ask me right now, Frederick, can you tell me how to set up a PHP application from scratch and, I don't know, define some controllers? I would say, yeah, if I can Google it a little bit first, because I used to work in PHP many years ago. But I promise you, I am 100% sure that I'm going to have to look up some syntax or things like that. It is a similar thing that happened to me with Python. Like, I haven't done Python development outside of school and a few like computer science courses and things like AI stuff and so forth for years, like for years. But I did just for fun take the LinkedIn, like those verify your skills type of thing, like their tests online, and I think that the test you have to answer the question within 30 seconds, and that's how long it took for me to find, like, to look up the syntax for certain methods I had forgotten in the programming language. So I passed, but it wasn't like I had everything memorized. And the same thing would be true for even languages that I use on a daily basis. Like, it's not like I sit here and I literally know all the things. The way I try to describe it is that it's a little bit like speaking your native language. Like, I am from Sweden, and sure, I speak Swedish as a native speaker, but I don't know the whole language. Holy shit, no. There's no like there's no way. I don't think any Swede would claim that, apart from maybe someone who's really interested in languages. I don't know. And so that's not the thing that usually happens for me. But the thing that what usually happens is that, how do I put this? I have found in situations where I think I understand something, but the thing I actually understand is the abstraction of the thing. And basically what that means is that, so when, let's, a classic one that to give a really specific example of this. So when I do interviews with quite a lot of, say in this case, front-end developers. So one of the most common questions that I ask in order to determine this thing I'm talking about, do you know front-end? Because if I ask you, do you know how to do front-end? Everybody says yes, of course. And I go, okay, cool. Can you tell me, have you worked with, say, something like Rollup, Webpack, or similar sorts of things? Yes, of course. Like, do you know how it works? And the further down I go in that questioning, the less people will feel secure. So if I ask, do you know front-end? Yes. If I ask, do you know Webpack? Most of them say, yeah, I know how to use Webpack. Okay, could you tell me what a loader is? And then it stops. The further down I go into the details of what they claim to know, the less sure they become. And that is the thing that for me, it's the same thing with, say, computers and so forth. So I was explaining to my ex-girlfriend now, actually, a while back, when we were talking about the command line, for example, where I said that all the things that you do on the UI interface, like clicking on the menus and clicking buttons and running programs and so on, I can do from the command line. So I took the time to learn this, just because when we work as programmers, some things don't have a UI, and it's, in some cases, at least I find, to be more effective to work there. So, like, It's just a different interface to work with the computer. It's in practically almost all cases, not for everything of course, but you can basically do all the same things. One is a graphical interface and this is a text-based interface, and we're still working with the same underlying computer of course. And it's the same thing here. Like most people learn the abstraction of something, or that they're supposed to use A, B, and C in order to do A, B, and C, but they don't really understand why they're doing it. And that is something that I continuously come back to. Like I find it over and over and over. You learn the concept, the abstraction itself, but and then you figure out that, okay, there was more to it under the surface that you did not know. And I try to scrape away as much as possible so that I can get deeper and deeper and deeper. Another one is like when I ask front-end developers, can you tell me like have you used Babel before? And they go, yeah, I use Babel. Okay, what does Babel do? And they're gonna go, well, I don't really know. Exactly, you know that Babel is necessary for your React code to work in the browser. Usually that's what they know, but they don't know actually what it does. And that's something that this is the best way, I argue, to keep yourself humble. You know what, you're on a slippery slope. I usually argue, okay, that's why I try to be the guy who is not that guy. The worst mistake is when you start getting yourself a little bit of an ego over that you know so many things, and you like so forth and so forth. And when you get a question such as this one, where you might not be able to actually answer as readily, this is the critical moment, I argue. Is your ego now so inflated that you're going to defend, dismiss, or try to hide the fact that you're ignorant of this thing? Or are you just going to be humble enough to say, yeah, actually I don't know? And that is, it's actually one, I use that as an evaluation point in the interviews that I do. If you try to hide the fact that you don't know the answer to that question, you are digging your own grave with me at the very least. Holy shit, because I can tell that you can't answer. As I've said before, it's very, very difficult to answer. If I know the answer and you don't, I'm going to hear that you don't. And in that scenario, it is so dangerous. It's hard as well because, of course, we don't want to know. I mean, I do it as well. You start mumbling, you kind of go, yeah, and you start speculating because you want to do a good interview, right? You want to know everything, and so it's really hard here to admit that you don't know. But at the very least, try to do it to yourself. Because what I try to do at the very least, is that when it turns out that I am ignorant of how a thing works, because I might know 90% of how something works, and then there's a few percent there that I don't really know, but they're very important things to understand. I at least try to take the time to go in and look at it. It takes a little bit of soul searching, I argue, to be, and like a bit of personal growth and so forth, when you get corrected by someone, or like someone tells you, no, actually you're wrong, it works this way or that way, to be wrong about something that you think that you really, really know. And all I can say is, just bow your head, take off your hat, and just say, yeah, sorry, I don't really, I need to, I'm gonna have to go and look this stuff up. Because what is it that they say? Like, if you ask a question, if you don't ask any questions or so forth, you're going to be ignorant for the rest of your life. But if you ask a question, if you ask a question, you're dumb once. But if you never ask a question or you never look anything up, you're dumb for life. And that's exactly how I try to look at it. To try to get to a point where I'm comfortable with admitting to people that there are some stuff that I really, really know. Here are the things that I really, really know, and here are some stuff that I think that I really, really know, but I never put myself in a position where I try to convince people, like where I try to force that idea onto people, because I'm a strong believer in that things should stand on their own merit. So because I think in that way, I will never just tell my software coworkers or so forth that, no, this is wrong, you should be doing A, B, and C, and so forth and so forth. I don't try to force my ideas onto people. I always take the position of, regardless of how well I think I know a subject, I will always walk people through my train of thought, why I believe what I believe, why I make the claim that I claim, and then I allow them to either just say that, yeah, actually you are correct, or go, no, Frederick, I don't think you fully understood that thing. Here's how I think about it. So what I want you to take away from this is that I usually, like, things I forget, absolutely. Like at one point I probably knew all the ways that you could slice a string in Python. I still don't remember. I don't remember it now. I would have to go and look it up. So for sure that I forget things. And that's gonna keep on happening, because what I usually say is that the things you do every single day, or like the things that repeat themselves, that's the stuff that you get good at. And that's why my argument is, if you want to get really good at something, you have to make it your job, because you have to have some reason to come back to it over and over and over, because repetition is the key to knowledge and wisdom and skills and all that good stuff, in my opinion, at the very least. And then what I always try to remember is that even when I think that I know a topic really, really well, I let my thoughts and the reasonings that I have, I don't just declare that this is the way you do it or that is the way that you do it. I always motivate why. Because if I motivate why, I can be corrected, and I hope at the very least I don't come off as this person who's kind of just like, there are people who do this and I fucking hate them. The bully type of people who just like, they use, like they're a bit of brutish, and like they start trying to belittle people or be pushy and shovey in like their opinions, and oh well, if you think that, then you're a fucking idiot, or like so forth and so forth. I try as much as possible as not be one of those people, because those are the sort of people that you want to see go down. But if I tell you that I think that you should do A, B, and C, and I think that you should do that because, then at the very least I've communicated what I think. I'm not going to assume that I am right, even though I might feel like I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be. I at least give you the option of correcting me, and I present it to you in such a way that I hope makes me come up off less as a know-it-all. Have a great day.